What is up, YouTube?
Hi.
Giving on to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost.
Always.
My name is Marcus.
I'm Christian.
And this is Marriage for Dummies
Relax.
Reaction. Today, we're doing a video. This one's called Charlie Kirk Hates Women. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and we love you. Let's check it
out.
Question is about the role of women, though. What should women's role in public and private life look like, and what are the material benefits of that?
Well, thank you for that. Can I take it? I don't even want to take this detour, but can we both agree on what a woman is?
Yes. An
What is a
adult
woman?
human female is a biological state of being that is also socially experienced. Can I please elucidate just one example of that social experience?
Yeah, I was going to answer your question, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So let's say you're a member of a tribe, and that in that tribe, you have the biological female anatomy, and in order to become a woman in that tribe, you have to also get a tattoo. That's a social experience that's mapped onto biological reality.
So can a woman have a prostate?
Can a woman have a prostate? Biologically speaking, a woman is an adult human female that has a biological reality, but it's also social experience, right? So I don't...
Yeah, it's super easy. Like, can a woman have a prostate?
So as per my definition of woman, I would say that people who have a prostate are biologically male, but they can sometimes be socially treated as women.
Okay, got it. So women can have prostates. Got it. Okay. So you're a feminist that actually isn't just fighting for women, you're also fighting for men.
So, yes, men also experience harms from patriarchy, but I argue...
We're talking about the same feminism, though, just make sure. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, men also experience harm from patriarchal domination, but I would argue that those harms come from that system of domination itself. In the same way, for example, this isn't a threat, but if I reached across and punched you in the face, then my hand might hurt. Right? So, are we understanding that there are, patterns of power? So, I would also fight for the rights of men as a feminist, just as I would fight for the rights of women.
Sure. Do you think women are happier than they were 40 years ago?
I think I would have a few responses to that. I think that women report more stress and dissatisfaction today because, not because they have more rights or because of feminism, but because they're under dual pressure to both excel professionally and also because of the domestic labor in homes that is structured around outdated expectations. So, for example, studies like the OECD's Better Life Index show that women's life expectancy, education levels, professional achievements have risen in countries with higher gender inequality. So I would argue that what you're calling unhappiness is actually visibility, because now we hear women expressing dissatisfaction, whereas in the 50s, we prescribed them Valium and we lobotomized.
Yeah.
Lobotomizing?
That's,
Lobotomizing?
That's crazy.
That's really rich. I didn't know women not to complain 50 years ago. That's funny. No, hold on a second. Why are suicide rates going up more for women?
Yeah.
I think that
Forget
encourages...
complaining. Materially, women are killing themselves more. Why is that?
I think that even if both men and women have become unhappier, men's suicide rates have risen as well, and that's also been exponential. Can you at least concede that feminism offers only one potential explanation? There could be also other explanations.
Of course, obviously, but feminism is the glaring thing in front of us where we have fertility rates down, we have marriage rates down, we have unhappiness up.
Yeah.
And we did something in the 1960s out of the universities of Brady Friedan and Gloria Steinem and all these feminists that basically said, you're trapped in a home, go get a job, freeze your eggs, take birth control. And all of a sudden, women are way unhappier than they were 40 years ago. And I just have to ask the question, why is that? Is it working? And maybe there are biological differences between men and women that we should respect, and that deep down a lot of women want to get married and have children. In fact, we should applaud it, and we should support it, and we should say it means nothing if you're going to go be a CEO of some shoe company or be some banker in London. What matters if you raise children and you have something to pass down long after you're gone.
I think I would bring 2 points to that. The first one is just really simple, which is that you can ascribe liberalism all you want as the cause of the unhappiness. I would argue something else. I would say that it's certain economic policy that has very little to do with the social acceptance of alternative lifestyles. I would say that we can recognize that income inequality across a vast swathe of Western countries has increased, which causes all kinds of social ills, a lack of social cohesion, housing price growth doesn't correspond with wage growth, monopolies increasingly become kind of emboldened to interfere with politics, and monopolies don't prioritize social health either. I think that those offer more compelling reasons for a decline in happiness than an increase in freedoms, because just one more thing, on an intuitive basis, generally speaking, people want more freedom, not less.
Okay, so if that's true, why is it, do you agree that the happiest women of the West are married with kids?
I would have to look into it, but I think there are certain
and objectively we know that, right? The women with kids are not the ones tearing down statues, right? They're the ones that actually have obligations.
Does tearing down statues correspond to some kind of smiles per capita data set that I wasn't aware of?
Again, it's a little bit of a one-liner. The happy and the grateful.
Yeah.
the happy and the grateful usually don't go burn down Wendy's in their spare time, of which we saw in our country all throughout a single summer. But as a side note, you would agree, objectively, study after study, survey after survey, that the women of the West that are married and have children, especially a lot of children, are far happier than even the ones that earn more money correlated at the same age.
So I also don't think that happiness is a very good metric, and neither do you, because you think gay people shouldn't just pursue happiness by being gay. They have other moralistic considerations to be making. So I don't think smiles per capita is a particularly convincing way to measure whether or not we should encourage women to be autonomous. I think we should maximize agency within a fair system that has reasonable parameters because it's expedient, it's good for the economy, it's logical, it's the moral thing, because if we can't prove the material harms, we shouldn't discourage it. And also self-reported studies is a really flawed way to do psychology. It's the week before my university exams right now, and I'm standing here explaining the basic methodology behind survey collection in sociology, which you don't even think is a real subject, to Charlie Kirk. If I took one of those surveys right now, I'd check extremely miserable. But so would a Palestinian child who's been torn to smithereens. How are we going to measure?
You would say extremely miserable?
No, I'm kind of making a joke.
No, I mean, but seriously, like, but hold on. I mean, like, that's an important point, though, is that the women in the West have it the best in the world, and yet they're way unhappier than women of sub-Saharan Africa. There's something fundamentally wrong here. Because the women of sub-Saharan Africa have something that a lot of women in the West do not have. The women in the West have cats, and they have good jobs. And the women of sub-Saharan Africa, they have a belief in the divine, and they have kids. And maybe there's a biological undercurrent that is keeping a lot of women from realizing their full potential. And so without reading your phone and just, like, you know, connecting.
I'm not really reading my phone.
Well, it's fine. Sure, then you can answer without it. Fair enough. Would you agree that it's a good thing that more women get married and have children in the West?
I would ask you, would you say that a sub-Saharan African woman who's experienced female genital mutilation and checks extremely happy in a survey, and I also would check extremely happy in a survey, who do you think would be objectively more happy, even if they both check the same answer?
No, again, so I fully, if you want to talk about how Islam mistreats women, we could talk all day long. Like, I'm all for that.
Me too.
Okay, good. So we agree.
Absolutely.
We actually
agree
have
on many things.
Then we should shut off Muslim immigration to the UK, right? We totally agree.
I think that all religious fundamentalism is bad, and if you take that logic, we should also not allow evangelical Christians into the UK either.
Hold on. So hold on a second. Hold on. That's funny. Hold on. Can you show me a single... Show me, what would your example, because I have 50, of a single Christian country that you would say mistreats women, right?
America.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We had a female woman vice president. We had a female vice president, a female speaker of the House. Women earn more than men in America.
In Rwanda, female representation in government supersedes the UK by quite a lot. Did women get treated better in Rwanda?
Okay, I might be super off this. Like, is Rwanda Islamic? Like, I'm not totally sure. I don't think it is. Like, is it? Like, I don't know, actually. It's not. So, again, we were just talking about Islam. It's a little bit of a side note, but you must be morally clear, because you brought up female genital mutilation, which is a teaching of the Islamic faith. But as a side note, like, again, this is very important, which is, I'm not here to require you to do anything or not. I'm making a simple observation, which is objectively true regardless. The women of the West are miserable, and they're miserable for a reason, because we've told them to suppress how they are made by God and pursue something else and get a bunch of trinkets and get a bunch of promotions, and they end up at 38 years old with a big flat in London, and they're miserable. And we should tell them to stop freezing their eggs and start finding their partner earlier and have lots of babies.
Yeah, okay, I think I'd bring two just final points to this. First one is just really intuitive, right? Which is that if you actually care about women's happiness, then the solution is to structurally support them. That means universal childcare, shared legally enforceable parental leave, and in Nordic countries where women have high workforce participation and also some state support, they report higher life satisfaction than in more conservative countries, including America. So if your metric is happiness,
just use satisfaction surveys. You just told me they're BS.
So our satisfaction surveys are not, because you told me they're
Do you acknowledge satisfaction surveys or not? You just told me that they're BS. Do you think they're objective? We can use that as data?
I don't think that
yes or no?
It's the only sole data set, but it is a data set that
you told me they're so flawed and you self-report. Okay, by the macro self-satisfaction data, I am correct. And you are right. When you have paid family leave, you are happier. I'm actually a proponent of that. At Turning Point USA, we pay for 6 months when somebody has a child. I think there's a lot of agreement we can have on that. We need to encourage having more children. I think the Hungarian child policy is phenomenal. We should look at that, because the greatest thing that is plaguing the West is we're not having enough kids. And it's not just bad because we won't have a future. It's also bad because the present is awfully miserable for too many women as well. You are a self-described feminist.
But he hate women, though.
That's crazy.
But he hate women.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I understand.
Crazy.
It's paid 6 month leave.
And see, women, if we would just play our role properly,
Yeah.
good men like Charlie will understand that paid leave, if you are working and you decide that for an amount of time, that's fair, okay? Because not everybody can stay home as of now, but you can, but that's a whole nother topic. But like they got us. They'll figure they understand. They'll get it because they too have a wife that too goes through postpartum and. You know what I'm saying? Like, or not postpartum. Like after having a baby, how long it takes.
Go get you a conservative man that understands that he needs his wife at home with his kids.
There you go.
Period. And there you go.
There you go. And you don't have to worry about none of that.
Yeah, I don't agree with him because he says this, so I'm going to go into the workforce and I'm gonna have kids, and then I'm gonna barely take care of them. I'm gonna put them in daycare. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man.
Telling you.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What is a woman?
Why do you want to know?
I'm infinitely curious.
What's a man?
You're looking at one.
So you would describe a man as having short hair, wearing a little popped collar,
XY chromosomes.
Okay. And why do you think that that's important to you, what a man and a woman is? How does that define your worldview going forward? Do you treat men and women differently?
Of course we should treat men and women differently, of course.
In what way?
We should honor and protect women.
I want to honor and protect you, man.
Okay, great.
Do you not like that? Do you not want to be honored and protected?
Women are worthy of protection, of course.
I think you're also worthy of protection. Don't talk down to yourself like that. Please.
Can you tell me what a woman is since you're a feminist?
I want you to ask yourself, why do you think that it's so important to you that we define man and woman? Like, how does that change the way you treat people? If a civilization
cannot answer the question of what is male and female, that civilization will cease to exist.
Is that why the Roman Empire failed? Because all of a sudden Aristotle
it's one of the reasons why this civilization is collapsing. Because we send kids to go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt that can't answer the most simple biological question. I'll ask you one last time, what is a woman?
I know you're not asking this for you're trying to get a gotcha, right? You're trying to get like a little baity question, but I really want to know, why is it so important to you to define things in certain categories? How does that help your day-to-day life? Like
what other categories in the human species are there besides male and female?
Well, I just think that categorization is usually unhelpful when we're trying to improve society, right? We want to make things better for people. We want to improve things.
So I have XY chromosomes.
Okay.
Can I give birth?
No, you can't.
Bingo. That's why categorization matters. Do men menstruate?
What?
Do men do XY chromosome they menstruate? Yes.
Menstruate? Okay, because you're saying mensurate, and it's like kind of a little. But again, you're saying these things because you're trying to get a gotcha, and I don't want to engage with you like that.
Why is it important?
I'm serious.
You asked the question,
and
I'm telling you.
You keep asking me another question.
Because there are big differences between men and women.
Here's a question.
Men and women are not the same, and if you can't tell me what a woman is, and also. You're a feminist. Shouldn't you be able to tell me what a woman is?
I'm a feminist.
Isn't that probably important to feminism? What is the woman that you're trying to advance and protect? Isn't that integral to? Is that the whole feminist project?
So a lot of times, feminism has to do with the ways that people have treated the female sex on a different way than the male sex has traditionally. It's all about analyzing that and exposing it. And you say that men and women are different, and you think that they should
disagree?
Wait, I'm just asking you. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So, and you think they should be treated differently, right?
Well, it depends in what context, though. Should be treated differently politically? No. Should be treated differently under the law? No. Should be treated differently in societal customs and norms? Yes.
Why?
Like, we should open doors for women, for example.
Okay, but where do you see these beliefs for you come from?
We should protect women if they're under duress.
I think that we should protect everyone under duress.
We as men have a moral right to stand up for the women in our life, against predators, against people that wish them harm. I think we have the right to stand up
for everybody in our life.
Of course we do.
But why do you see yourself as a man who has to protect and take care of other people? You're placing yourself on this higher ideological standpoint where you gain more power by having someone that you can protect.
See,
that's all feminists are worried about, is that somebody's going to get something over them. They want things to be, they either want to be on top or they want to be equal. But they think they don't understand that they have, you make all the people, and you are responsible for how they grow up and what they become.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, like the fact that there's a bunch of single mother households that don't decide to stay with the men, or they don't, you know what I'm saying, they don't figure out how to cooperate properly under one household and take care of the kids. There's a downfall in society.
Yeah.
So it's their responsibility.
That's how important it is.
Yeah, the lack of them knowing that they got a responsibility is changing the entire world. So you got the most important job. You got one of the most important jobs to do that.
You make the humans.
And men are made just to protect all of that, everything that you are made to do.
You make the humans.
And you're like, I need more.
That's crazy.
I need more than that. That's
but the devil, he wants to keep on taking.
Take on.
And that's why we ate the fruit first.
Yeah.
And we keep eating the fruit first every time. Every time. Yeah. Let's stop eating the fruit and do it right. Walk the Bible back.
Yeah.
Do it right of what God called us to do in the Garden of Eden. Let's do it properly.
Yeah.
Go against what you feel in a day and actually make it work out with somebody.
Yes.
Forgive them. Work through it.
My man says God says this. Okay, we'll do that instead of eating the fruit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's just that simple.
And one thing I wanted to mention as well is that what we tend to forget, because I used to be a feminist as well, or not really, but kind of all over the place, confused, didn't know. Anywho, what she doesn't realize is that in the same sense of claiming to be a feminist, but you still got to protect me, but you still have to do these things. Ain't no way in heck that if you are getting, raped, if you're that, or and there's some, or about to be, and there's some man walking past that you would be like, he better help me. I can't believe he didn't help me.
Yeah.
So how dare you? We just when you have privilege, it's very hard to see that
what
privilege.
If a guy was about to get raped by a guy and there was a woman right near
what
them?
You gonna do?
You expect her to run up and try to stop or jump on his back? No. Run, you go get cover. I'm trying to figure this out. Like that's crazy, man.
Go tell someone. That's about as much as you can do, because that is the truth. You're a woman. What can you do against a man that?
But she's so
crazy.
filled up with rage, she'd never reconcile with that unless she was in that predicament.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
That system and hierarchy of power to be just exhausting to traverse the world through. Just looking at people as people to protect and people to take care of instead of us working together, right? And trying to improve things together.
So do you think there are any differences between a male and female?
Oh, are we talking about just the sex right now? Of course. There's tons of differences just between the male and the female sex. But what's important is how we treat people because of that,
So that therefore they have different contributions to give to society?
Right.
I think that everybody has different contributions, man. Just because I'm not popping out kids 24/7 doesn't mean I can't be helpful,
I'm not saying that that's not the case. However, if you can't tell me again what a woman is, and you're not able to answer the question because that is the cheat code against postmodernism.
No, because I don't think you even know what postmodernism is or postmodern
Well, you want to talk
theory.
about Herbert Marcuse or Jacques Derrida or Michel Foucault, one-dimensional man?
Okay, we can get into all of that.
So don't try to tell me I don't know postmodernism, because I have read the pantheon of the garbage that you believe in. But let me complete with this.
Postmodernism. I don't want to expose myself to different mindsets.
I actually know what the literature says and what it means and what it espouses.
Yes.
But this is why it's the great cheat code, because it is the war
Asking
against
what a woman is the only way that you can get a gotcha over everybody else.
Great conversation. You'll see it online next week. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
How do you believe feminism should be defined?
Wow.
And do you think it can be reconciled with conservatism?
Well, so yes and no. It depends. There's first, second, and third wave feminism. First wave feminism is that women should have a right to vote. Second wave feminism had a lot of problems, which is the female liberation movement, that women should not just be at home, but they should get into the workforce. Third wave feminism is complete garbage, which is toxic modern day feminism, which is irreconcilable with any decent society, which is far more about hating men than actually respecting women. And you guys all know the type of that kind of feminism. There are some good aspects of second wave feminism, but at the core of feminism, we have to ask the question is, has it made American women happier? And it hasn't, actually. American women are more suicidal, more depressed, more anxious than they were prior. And I believe, and again, we get in trouble for saying this, is that you should have the agency and liberty to do whatever you want. but many women, a majority, like 90+% deep down, have this urge to reproduce and to raise children, and we are telling them to forsake that and go become a CEO of a shoe company. And we're wondering why so many young ladies are miserable and angry, because they're at war with something within them that they actually want to do, which is to have a relationship, have children, and nurture future humans into this world.
I would like to propose an alternative perspective. I'm conservative, but I'm also a feminist, and I think that a better way to propose feminism in the public media would be not to eliminate having children and tell women that they shouldn't have children, but to figure out your career first before you decide to like settle down, because you can't really undo that once you have kids.
So I think it's the exact opposite. I think you should have kids first, then do your career, because which one has a timetable on it?
There you go.
Right.
True, but like once you have kids,
You better
you're
get it,
committed
Charlie.
to that, and you can't really have as much of a career. So you
Good.
should kind
Then
of
it ain't
define
meant for you.
your
Right. So then, what's the point of having a career?
What's-
So what's the point of putting all of your stock in having a career, and then as soon as you have kids, you know that you have to stop what that is?
yeah.
No,
Wow.
you can be a mother. You can be a mother because that's what's going to. You want to be a mother. You want to be a great mom. You can be a mom because that's what's going to identify you. And then whatever sprouts from that is what you should. You know what I'm saying? Is what like Andrew Wilson's wife, who wrote a book within the understanding, like being a conservative woman and understanding
go.
that, she wrote a book because that was her identity. This is what I live in. This is me every day. Your career is just for a time. It's just for a moment. Like that would be crazy.
And what feminism has done so very well of is making us ladies think we have an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
And that, you can just freeze your eggs and do this
Yeah.
and that. How do you know that's going to work?
Yeah.
How do you know your body's going to be able to handle having a kid after
Yeah.
that? You don't know. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing is that you don't have unlimited time.
And it-
like this, you're not even promised tomorrow.
And then the abortion. I mean the abortion argument that babies go into foster care, and then they have parents that don't really care, that don't really worry about them. They're worried about other stuff, or they're not going to take proper care of them. Just for you to wait to have kids after you got established, and then you have kids, and you put them off.
Yeah.
But you like, you know what I'm saying?
the
That
exact same
argument is
thing.
crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Just do it. Just do it the normal way, the natural way, the way that things are supposed to work.
Yeah, the way
And,
God
like,
designed it. You're not.
Yeah, you have a calling. You have
Yeah.
as a woman, you have a calling. You have
It's so important.
The greatest calling is creating new people and being there to nurture that new person into a decent person by keeping a husband around so that they can do their part, and you around so you can do your part. It's wild, man.
What is so incredible and crazy about being able to have kids is the fact that God makes a life inside of your body. Like even while you're pregnant, it's crazy. You can't comprehend that. Wow, another life is here, like within me. Like that's so wild to think about. And that's the most incredible thing ever.
And in a small way, your contribution changes the world, at least a bit, like the next generation. Do you understand? Like it's
that's
important,
it's a big deal, especially as a collective of women.
But a lot of women have given up that responsibility. And that's why the world is declining the way it is. They're giving up the responsibility to try to compete with a man. To try to be I like what he does better. But then when you doing what he do, you like what she doing better when she at home. So just realize that you got to get off your bridge about it.
And don't listen to other women that are I can't even say that because I'm a woman. I'm talking, but it's so okay. Look, all that I can say is that women will lie to you about their state of happiness if that means that they can continue doing something and make you change your mind. They're not truthful with what's really going on inside. You know, not aware of what's really going on and why they are depressed and why they're feeling this way. It's because of that.
Fighting for their own prison. It's crazy.
Yes.
like. I guess what I'm trying
Kids
to.
are way more important than being, a data scientist at Dropbox.
But okay, what if you don't want to have?
That's
kids?
fine. Then go do it. You're risking that you might end up super miserable. And that's what we're seeing is that we have seen a spike where half of women in their 30s that are unmarried are on antidepressants. Half. We've never seen a spike like this. And again, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but we've never ever seen a generation or a group of people so angry, so miserable, so medicated. And there's obviously something wrong. We know who are the happiest women in America. Women with 3 or more kids are the happiest women in America. Least suicidal. Yes, right? And by the way, it's not easy, but it's super deep. And so
3 or
again,
more
if you
kids.
want to go be a data
Well, we got
scientist,
more kids.
God bless you. This is country's free country. Go do that. I just think that there's a part of the story that isn't being told, which is that the opposite should be like have kids as soon as possible, and then you can go pursue your career in your late 30s once your kids are 18 years old. And it's the opposite. You know, we tell people, wait. And by the way, when you reach your 30s, you might be infertile, you might have trouble having kids, you might need IVF, you might need all these other very, harsh treatments, and you might not even find a mate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
That's
very
all I
much.
had.
Enjoy class.
Hey.
Thank you.
As a
That's
woman,
sweet.
why do you feel that you're not threatened with abortion policies? Like, I understand, you feel a sense of vulnerability when participating with trans women or men, as you consider, in sports. Why do you feel that these policies and these, concepts don't threaten you?
Because I think children are the greatest blessing life has to offer.
And if that's the case, why don't you think children are deserving of healthy environments? Like, honestly, can you confidently say that a woman who has a child who, the child was conceived under circumstances that were, not okay and very violent and, I can't even imagine. How are you guaranteeing that this child is going to be happy and live a healthy life that's deserving?
Of course, I can never guarantee the outcome of someone's life, but what's a whole lot worse than giving someone a chance is eliminating that chance altogether by ultimately terminating their life.
Are you eliminating that woman's chance of fulfilling her dreams and fulfilling her life? Like, it's foster
Shouldn't
care
have
systems
sex.
aren't what they seem, or, people, of course, have opinions of what's right to do after you have a child, or, if you decide not to have a child. But I have a friend who was in foster care, and he has experienced the most insane situations that I can even imagine. And the fact that,
No, keep on going. It's fine. It's just, I know all your arguments, but keep going.
No, I really want to know, like not even to be like this, but woman to woman, Riley, how do you justify, putting this almost shackle on women and kind of sitting there and saying, you know what,
Charlie's
I don't
like,
care.
oh my
You're gonna have
God.
this child,
Shackle?
despite how painful.
I am so sorry that you are led to believe that children are shackles on your life. I would argue there are many parents here, mothers, fathers who are here who would not look at their children as shackles. Again, they would look at them as the greatest blessing life has to offer.
For real.
Yeah.
If unfortunately that's a position that you find yourself in, or someone finds themselves in, where they do see this child as a hindrance, you mentioned foster care. I think we, rather than again kind of normalizing and accepting and celebrating the idea of abortion, you work on foster care reform, the reform of the adoption system. I think those are much more beneficial and effective ways to ultimately address the problems that you're bringing to light without having to terminate lives in the
Yeah.
process.
I like
Why
that.
is there such a focus
Very
on
well
kind
said.
of
I'm proud of
reprimanding
her.
women for their choice, but not a focus on making sure that foster care systems are what they should be? And
Yeah, we
Well, I
just-
think that's a national conversation that we could have.
Yeah.
I do.
so why do you not think that's happening? Why do you think the focus is on
Yes.
women and their bodies?
It is happening. We
Because you don't need to kill them. Look, woman, now you just said what you said. Now, turn around your avocation, turn around what you just said. Okay, got it, I understand. Turn around and now turn your avocation toward the foster system. That's what you need to do. But it ain't that. You just want to kill kids. Like, if you know now, okay, so why are we not doing that, and why is it focused on women's bodies? Because we're trying to halt that. Hey, hold on, stop killing. Now let's, you and I, all of us, work together to advocate so that we have a better, that's what you need to be advocating for. Not, you're only standing up here talking about this and using this as a gotcha so that you can kill kids. That's it.
Or what about this? What if we, as women, as a collective, when you go and get an abortion, you have to post it on all of your social media platforms? Oh, you don't want people to know that you're going to go do it. Oh, if we do that, hold up. Wait a minute. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you know daggone well that you do not want anybody to know that you're going to get it done, and that it feels better to just do it. No one's going to really know that I'm doing it, because no one's going to see a kid that come into life because of a decision I made.
Yeah.
No one's gonna see that I didn't want the kid and I had to give it up to foster care. You just don't want to take responsibility for a choice that you made in your life. And you know how I know that? Because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I know what it is deep inside that you don't want to do, and that's what you're trying to avoid, is what other people are going to think of you.
Yeah.
We can't help it. That's how we are. We're communicative.
Yeah.
So now, as a communicative, let's be communicative. We have to make it. Let's say we agree on, okay, abortion can happen if you have to post on everything that you do. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, these ladies are not doing it. Y'all ain't doing it.
They fight,
you know daggone well
they
you ain't
argue
doing
that.
it.
They argue why they got to do that.
Yeah.
So it would still end up being a argument towards a man trying to control their bodies. But like I said, it doesn't matter to it does not matter to her, right? I could tell by just that you could have just changed your mind right there and decided, you know what?
Wow, we
should just advocate. Let me go get all the women that are trying to do that and let's advocate with it so no more lives are they're like, no, instead of that, we rather just have the choice. I'd rather advocate for the choice to kill them rather than going and actually fighting for the cause that I'm sitting here trying to use to argue it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I should post more fun into foster care systems. You don't know about it. Do you know what a pregnancy crisis center is?
Yeah, like a Planned Parenthood kind of ordeal, or what do you mean by that?
No.
It's just a question. I mean, I'm really learning.
A pregnancy crisis center is the pro-life equivalent, where you go there to actually have your baby be saved, and they'll actually help the baby with diapers and with formula and food up to 5 years of life. And there are there's thousands of churches across the country that pump in hundreds of millions of dollars a year on that one specific thing.
I make sure I support causes that do as well. Whether that is supplement companies, all the supplements I get, my vitamins that I take daily, I make sure I buy from a company that supports pro-life causes because it matters to me. When I say I'm pro-woman, I mean I am pro-woman wholeheartedly, entirely, all the way through, up and down. I am pro-woman. That means supporting women during their pregnancy, throughout their pregnancy, and after their pregnancy as well.
Boom.
That's how you do it.
Wham, wham. So, yeah, anybody that watched that, man, if you think that they hate women, this is crazy, man.
And it's wild that feeling like you're a feminist without understanding what it is to be a female.
Yeah.
It's the basics. It is to create life. That's why you are different than a man. Yeah. And we are looking over that because it is passed down from generation to generation, and now we either wake up or we keep letting it get worse and worse. So all we can do is keep pushing this out there, telling the truth. And look, we too were ones that didn't know these things. We were on the other side. So all that we can say is that maybe just take a second and process it, listen, and that's all we can hope for. But God bless y'all. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.